Hello friends, welcome to bispsolutions.com. My name is Sumit and today I'm going to cover a new topic in Salesforce Advanced Development, and the topic for today's video is scheduling jobs using Apex scheduler in Salesforce. So before moving on to actual implementation, let's understand what's the use of scheduling Apex. So let's take a very quick example. So my requirement is we have a lead object, and every day, every hour, we used to generate hundreds or thousands of leads are generating every day or in every hour. So my requirement is that whenever a lead gets generated, so a process will be executed on daily basis and make sure that if any record lead source is left blank, if lead source is not selected for any of the record, it will set as web default. Because as you can see, this lead source is not a mandatory field. So even if we do not select any records into it, if we set this to none, it won't show any error. You can see it is not throwing any error. So idea behind is that every day, once the office is closed, so this a schedule will run, an Apex class will be executed. It will validate that if the lead source is left blank for any record, then it will set the lead source as web for all those records. So we are going to achieve this with using Apex class. Apex scheduling is helps to invoke Apex classes, and those Apex classes will run at a specific time, and whatever logic we have defined within that Apex class or that scheduler class, that logic will execute and perform the operations as per the defined within that class. And here we are going to implement the schedulable interface, which has got execute function. So we are going to incorporate the implement class as well as the execute function and define the logic within it. So let's see how to achieve this, how to achieve same. As I've already told you, my requirement to update the lead source only for those records whose lead source is not defined by the user. So I will start our developer console, and in developer console, I'll create a new Apex class, and I give this Apex class name as lead maintenance processor. That's the name of the class. And because we are going to define this class as a scheduler class, so I'll make this class as global class and implements schedulable. Then I create one global, because in this schedulable interface, as you can see, if I'll save this, it is throwing an error message, and the error message is the execute method, because this execute method exists in this schedulable interface. So I define that execute function, which has got one schedulable context sc parameter, and here I'm going to create a list of lead type. List of lead is equal to, and I would be extracting those record ID from lead where lead source equals to null, and I set the limit as 10. So I am extracting 10 records at a time. Then I create another list of lead type, and where we would be updating the records. So list of update lead is equal to new list of lead type. So this list will hold all the records where lead source is equals to null, and this list in this list we would be updating the updated record IDs. And I validate that if not list of lead dot is empty. If it is not empty, then I run a for loop ld list of lead, and I would be setting the dummy record. So I'll just set not the dummy record, actually I'll set the default value as default lead source as web. So here we have web. I'm just setting it as web. So I'll say lead source is equal to web, and we'll add this ID, this record into update dot add LD. And finally we update the record. So I just write update list of lead. So it will update the record. So this is the Apex scheduler class. Now let me save it. Now in order to test it, before scheduling it, I just wanted to test it. So I'm going to create a new class, and I define that class name as lead maintenance processor test class. So I just copy this class name, create a new Apex class, and this will be act as a test class. And in order to define this as test class, I define a keyword called is test, and in here I create a function called test setup static void setup. So first of all, we are inserting some dummy records into it. So list of lead lst of lead is equal to new list lead, and I'm running a loop here for integer I is equal to 1, I less than equal to 10, I plus plus. Because the list which we have created, the dummy here, we have 10 records we are validating. So I just insert a loop for 10 records, and we are inserting list new records into it. So lead ld is equal to new lead, and there are three mandatory fields. Company, I set the company as BISP. Second mandatory field is last name, so I set the last name as BI. And the third mandatory field is status, so I set the default field as working contacted. So we are inserting 10 records into it, and LST of lead dot add LD, and finally we insert LST of lead. So record gets inserted. Now in order to validate it, in order to test this, so I create one static method, static test method void. So it's a test method, and test lead maintenance processor. So I'll call it as list test processor schedule job. So that's the method. And here I'm scheduling it for, I'm just creating a schedule. So I just schedule it for 0 seconds, 5 minutes at 12 o'clock for month, day, and for there is no year defined. And I write test dot, there's a function called start test. Then we are creating a job ID for validation. So I create system dot schedule Epochs. That's the label for that job, comma schedule, comma new lead maintenance processor. That's the name of, so we are invoking this class here, this schedule class, and we are invoking this. And we are trying to extract the records and make sure that the expected result is equal to the actual result. List of lead is equal to select id from lead where lead source equals to null, and I set the limit as 10. And I would be inserting system dot assert equal. So we are validating for expected with expected, and we are comparing expected and actual. So we are expecting 10, and actual will be list of lead dot size. And finally we write test dot stop test dot stop test. So let's resolve all the errors if we are getting. So there are no errors now, and now in order to test it, I simply click on test and new run, and the test class name is lead maintenance processor test. So I select the lead processor maintenance test. That's the function, all methods selected, and click on run, and it says it is success. We can go and test, and we can see the test is success now. And if there is any error, so let's suppose I'm expecting 10, but whatever is the actual, so it would be validating. So I say rerun and test, let's say new run. Again I select the list lead maintenance processor test, select the function and run, and if any error, you can see the run has failed. And why the run is failed, we can click on it and see the result. It is failed, assertion failed, the result is failed. We are expecting 20, but the actual is 10. So this is how we can validate the result. And once the process is finished, once the testing is done, now the next step is to schedule it. And in order to schedule it, we will go to setup, click on Apex classes, schedule Epochs, and we are going to schedule a new Apex class. So I'll call lead Apex schedule job, and here I define the Apex, and the Apex class is lead maintenance processor, and I would like to schedule it weekly and recur every week on every day. So I would like to execute it on every day and schedule it for 1 year, and the preferred time is 1 a.m. in the morning, or let's schedule it for 10 p.m. after the office is closed, and click on save. So the process is saved, and from where we can figure it out whether the job is scheduled or not. So we scroll down, click on jobs, click on schedule jobs, and we can see the job is scheduled here successfully. If you want to manage it, we can click on manage, and we can customize it, and if you want to delete, we can delete it. So this is how we can work on Apex Schedule, and that's the way to schedule Apex jobs using Apex Scheduler. So that's all in this video. I hope you found this video interesting. If you have some queries, you can post your comments in comment box. We are also providing consulting services on Salesforce. You can connect with us. So please visit our website bispsolutions.com. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.